Good evening and welcome to this December regular meeting, the Oakwood Unit 76 Board of Education. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m., 5:31 p.m. Roll call, please.
Bradford. Here. Hicks. Here. Janeski. Lynn.
Here. Ludwig.
Here. Plotner.
Here.
Smith.
Here. Please stand and join me in singing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a reminder, when we start the meeting, we are recording, and we'll have this posted shortly. Public participation. Mr. Maynard, I understand we have a few guests tonight.
We do, Mr. Smith. Thank you, and greetings, everyone. Glad to have you with us tonight. Two guests that I've invited this evening. One is Mr. Russ Lee, who is our auditor for the school district. So he's going to come and start us off with presenting some financial information for the school board. So thank you, Mr. Lee.
Yes. What a way to start the meeting.
That's right.
Audit. We can only go uphill from there.
We're going to talk a little bit about it. Obviously, we're a few months past the end of the fiscal year, so we'll just kind of hit some of the highlights and kind of let you know what went on and where you're at. I will tell you this: it was a great year for school finance for everybody, not just Oakwood, but across the board. For some reason, the state of Illinois kicked out a lot of extra money this year. Don't know why. Don't know where it came from. Have no idea why they did it. But like, for instance, replacement tax, corporate personal property replacement tax went up almost $800,000 for you guys. That is true of all schools. That's more than double what you were getting in the past. That's I don't know where it came from. Corporate price replacement tax is corporations that pay income tax in, and I do a lot of corporate income tax returns, and I can tell you in the state of Illinois, corporations are not paying more tax. They're paying less, and a lot of them are moving out. So why the state of Illinois all of a sudden came up with more money, nobody knows. You can even talk to legislators and they don't know where it came from. So whether it was because it was an election year, whether it was because something's coming down the pipe, I don't know, but they threw out a lot of money. EBF went up, educational-based funding went up. Of course, we got a lot more grant money, ESSER money, all that stuff got thrown out. So from an overall school finance, money was pretty good coming in this year. And in all honesty, you increased all your fund balances by $1.9 million for the fiscal year. That's pretty unheard of, basically, in any normal year. But so that's good. Expenses went up, obviously, too, because of grants and everything. But overall, from a financial standpoint, everything looks good. And you're not the only, like I said, that's kind of across the board for just about every school district in the state for some reason. All of a sudden, we threw a lot of money at them. So that's kind of the positive of the year. I'll tell you my conspiracy theory on why I think you got more money here in a little bit, but we'll kind of go from there. Overall, you're on the recognition list again to the state of Illinois. Again, as I say every year, I don't know what that means. It means the state of Illinois telling you do a good job financially. Doesn't mean anything because the state of Illinois can't even take care of their own finances, let alone telling you you're doing a good job. So anyway, you'll get a certificate. Larry will get a certificate in April. He can stick it on the wall and throw darts at it or whatever he wants to do with it, and then it'll tell you that.
We frame those here.
Do you really? That's good. I'm glad you do.
All that work you do, we frame.
Okay, perfect. So anyway, from a number standpoint, education fund had $10 million in revenue, had $8 million in expenses, so it increased by the $1.9 million, and that's without the bonds that you issued. That's a separate issue. So your fund balance now in the education fund is $5,256,000. That's really good. When you look at total expenses, as I said, was 8.5. The state standard says let's keep 6 months of cash on hand. You far exceed that. So solid financial. That and education is the main fund, obviously. So you're in solid financial from the education fund. That's good. Again, a lot of reasons why. We'll see what happens in the future. Operations and maintenance was $3 million in revenue, $3,018,000 in expense. So ran a little bit of a deficit, and of course we issued bonds and did lots of work there. So we had lots of extra expenses that went on in that year. So that's to be explained, basically. So your fund balance now is $2,904,000 after issuing the $3 million in bonds. So your fund balance is still really good. with the issuance of those bonds. And of course, you got lots of projects and stuff that you're going to do with them. So overall, that fund's still solid. Probably transportation fund had 579. That's the other kind of key fund. The 608 in expense ran a little bit of a deficit. So your fund balance is 415, but it's still above the 6-month standard. You had 608 in expense, 415 fund balance at the end. So we're still in all the 3 key operating funds, you're way above what the state would like to see. So you're from a financial standpoint in really solid shape there. Overall, total fund balances are over $9 million now, which is really solid. Obviously, I mean, you could operate the school for several years probably without having a whole lot of extra money coming in. So that's good. So solid financially. And again, expenses, we'll talk a little bit about them. I mean, they're up a little bit, obviously, just because of grant expenses and the extra building expense and stuff like that you did. And obviously, salary cost is up, benefits are up, supply costs went up last year. Was a crazy year, and it's still continuing that way. But even with that, as I look at expense numbers, nothing really jumps off the page that says you're a whole lot higher. The key fund, total instruction, which is all your teachers and all your programs and everything that you do, had $5.9 million in expense this year. A year ago was $4.9 million. So you're up about $1 million, but that's really not that much when you look at what went on and you look at other schools and everything that was thrown out. And some of that's grant money because ESSER money paid for some of those salaries and stuff. So a lot of reasons to explain that. The interesting factor, and we'll talk a little bit about it later, about your operating expense per student going up, but that's to be explained as well. So anyway, that still is not anything that was concerning to us. Numbers can be explained if you looked at the prior year, 21 to 20, you're not going to see anything really major increase. And your total expenses for the education fund were $8.5 million compared to $7.3 million a year ago. So again, less than a 10% increase, basically, or right at a 10% increase. And that's basically what everybody is running, is about a 10% increase across the board on expenses this year. Again, I say for a variety of reasons. So grant expenses play a big part into that. So those 3 funds still, like I said, the 3 key operating funds are really solid. Have no big issues there. The other kind of number I talked about is the operating expense per pupil. That's kind of a number we always look at. And that's based on a state formula. They come up with the expenses in there. The interesting thing to note on that is this year, state gives you this formula, says add in expenses from education, O&M, and transportation, basically, and divided by the number of students that you had at the end of the year. But this year, as I said, expenses are up, but they didn't factor in taking out the extra expenses for ESSER and everything out. So what you're going to see, and they'll come out with a report in probably March or April, and it'll talk about schools' operating expense per pupil, how it usually is. Okay, the schools are spending on the average of this much per pupil. Well, this year that number is going to be way up for every district because we didn't factor in the extra expenses. The state didn't have us take it out. So it's going to be interesting to see how the state puts that when they put it out, how they come out with their little report and say, well, yeah, expenses are up a couple $1,000 on average. Why? But they're going to have to explain to the public probably why all of a sudden we're spending more money per student. Yours this year is $12,945. A year ago, it was $9,973. So that's what I'm saying. That went way up. So it's going to be interesting to see how the state puts that out and reports that. And everybody's has been higher. Yours isn't the only one. I mean, it's significantly across the board that has jumped up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with that and how the state shows the public that. The last item, I think for those of you who've been around here, I talk about this every year, and that's the pension deficit. And this is my conspiracy theory. Why you got more money from the state of Illinois and replacement tax and everything. Your deficit that the state is showing right now is $1.8 million of what the state hasn't funded for Oakwood School for TRS. That's just yours. So that's just TRS. That's not all the other retirement systems. I was told about a week ago, the pension debt for the state of Illinois is now $10.8 billion for everything. That's state university retirement, IMRF, TRS, all of them across the board. So there is no way in this earth that $10.8 billion can ever be cut out of the state budget. Again, don't know. There isn't that much discretionary spending even in the budget. I don't think they even do that. So one of my theories is the reason they're throwing more replacement tax money at you and some other extra money at you is so that eventually they can throw that pension debt back at the local taxing bodies and say, hey, we gave you more money. Now since you've got extra money and now we've built your fund balance up, can you now pay some of that pension shortage that we've got going on? Because guess what? We're never going to be able to cut it. It's continuing to grow because people are living longer. We got more retirees. We got the most lucrative pension system in the United States, basically, of what's going on. So that debt's just going to continue to grow. So guess what? Can we throw that back at you and maybe you pay some of that and pay part of that out of that fund balance that we've allowed you to build? That's where I think it's going. That's where I think eventually here in the next year or two that Mr. Pritzker and the legislators are going to look at trying to throw that back at the local taxing bodies to have to pay some of that themselves by using some of the fund balance that you've built up. I may be issuing a little additional tax levy or something like that. It sure looked like something's going to have to give because there's no way the state of Illinois is ever going to be able to pay that. So something's got to give somewhere, and that's my conspiracy theory, I guess I have, but is the way it works. So overall, again, financially, great shape. Books, we had a couple of issues with the things in the books, but nothing major. Otherwise, it was clean. Had a couple of adjustments, but overall, I think from an audit standpoint, really good shape. Questions? Comments?
Any question, Mr. Lee?
Complaints, go to Larry.
You do. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
All right, I'll get out of your hair.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yep.
Mr. Mayor, do we have one other guest in the room?
We do. Tonight we have Sarah Bocek with us, attorney, and she's representing her firm tonight. I've asked her to come and talk to our school board. Sarah has, I've known Sarah for a long time, and she has done some work for our school district in the time that I've been here on occasion for different situations. And so anyway, I've asked her to come and talk to our board tonight. So thank you, Sarah, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anytime I get to come kind of close to home is a good day. The rain is terrible though, but he auditor said it's only going to go up from there. It is. It's going up. I'm just joking. I was like, that was a good intro for me. So I come from the firm of Korea Bocek. I guess we'll introduce Sarah Bocek. I grew up in Gibson City. I now live in Glen Ellen with my husband, who's a police officer, very helpful when I'm driving these country roads fast, but not safe because of the rain. And I have 3 children, 15, 13, and 10, and one big fat chocolate lab. And the reason I introduced myself like that is because I don't think you can ever trust the person that you want to work and do your legal work unless you know the person and you understand the person, you understand why they do what they do. So we do. Korea Bocek has 2 offices. We have one up in Oakwood Terrace and one in Edwardsville. When the firm formed in 2018, basically what we were was a break off of the major. It was the first major shakeup of all the school law firms. So I would love to tell you that this is this huge, massive network in the state, but actually school law in the state is a very small boutique type of practice where a bunch of us decided we wanted to practice differently. We broke off and we collectively all have 100+ years of experience. We all come from the different firms you're very familiar with, and we decided to do things different. Very client-centric, very client-first. Anytime you call, any of our attorneys are going to ask, one, what do you want to do? And let's figure out how you can do it. And the big joke is how to avoid being in stripes or orange or anything like that. Nobody likes good in those things. So there's a joke. You guys got to laugh a little bit. Attorneys aren't that funny, but we should. So when I joined the firm, Darcy broke off of a law firm, and it was mainly student and special ed focused at that time. I joined a year later. I was the previous general counsel for the Illinois Association of School Administrators for 12 years. But my primary focus is what we refer to as big people. So I do a lot of labor and employment, while Darcy did a lot of student and special ed, and we built the firm from there. So we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary. It sounds like, wow, you've only been around for 5 years. That's not exactly right, but that's how we formed. And we've sort of hit the ground running. Completely different sort of model of school law. It's how do we push out? How are we service? And, how are we service forward? Through COVID, we did Friday calls. Some of you joined it. Larry joined it. That was completely free. We believe in the fact that we have to give back to the communities to which we serve. One of the number one things that was really important to me when I came onto the firm was that, are we going to have a statewide presence? A lot of the law firms are centrally, have located in the Chicagoland area. one of the first things we did was open an office in Edwardsville. So we actually span the entire state. We represent over 150 school districts from tip to top. We have the most northern district and we have the most southern district, and we have one of the most farthest east and west. So it was super important to me, especially where I grew up, to make sure that we represented everybody, not just what people perceive as the suburbs or Metro East or whatever. My heart, while I love all clients we serve, anytime I get to serve the clients to which where I grew up is super important to me. So that's kind of who we are. We have 9 attorneys, soon to be 10. That's hot off the presses. He is starting next week. We can do the entire gamut of school. Anything that you need from, labor, employment to student to special ed to crisis management. We all have a specialty. Like I said, I tend to do the big people. I will tell you, it's been a very naughty time in the state of Illinois. It's been very difficult. What we are now experiencing is the pandemic after the pandemic. Discipline is on the rise. Student expectations, are on the rise. All of this type of stuff coming off this massive type of disruption to the educational process. So we're now dealing with what we call the pandemic after the pandemic. And we're doing great. I mean, it's day by day, it's step by step, but we're going to be just fine. These kids are going to be resilient. The staffs are going to be resilient, but they're under a lot of pressure and a lot of things coming their way. And that is a direct relationship from the pandemic, but one step at a time. So I'm not sure much more. I'd love to open it up for questions. We're a full service law firm. I don't want to take your time. I took a look at the agenda. I'm one step in the agenda that's keeping you from getting home to your families and starting the holiday. So is there anything that you might have questions for me? I did prepare a complete comprehensive that talks about our fees and our travel arrangements and board meeting and all of that. Larry will have that. He'll push it out. It'll be in a magazine format. So I didn't want to put that up there and go step by step by step. I mean, I just think you guys can find that. I'm eager to serve this district in whatever capacity that is needed from the legal. The number one philosophy change that we have is that at the end of the day, the school attorney works for you, just like your auditor works for you, just like any of your third-party vendors work for you. And that person has to build that relationship. So I don't want to be known as the stuffy attorney that comes in and, you know what I mean? Oh, it costs so much. I want to be a valued member of the team that just has the legal background. And that's really what we have really dedicated ourselves to do is client first, student first. Let's do what's right for kids. Let's figure out how to do that as a collective team. And that's, that's our commitment. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's simple. What you see is what you get with our firm. And that's what we're dedicated to. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, yeah.
No, I just see any questions.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, you had mentioned about being more philosophy shift that kind of helped inform your firm about being more client-centric. What is it that you want to do, and how do we do that? Can we do that? That type of thing. You want to talk a little bit more about that, because sometimes that is a little bit different than just saying, here's what the law says, boom.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So I think what Larry is referring to is at the end of the day, there are 862 school districts, 864 sometimes. People like to mess with that number a little bit, cooperatives in there. But at the end of the day, there are that many school districts. No two school districts. You are literally a stone's throw from one of the largest unit districts in the state, and you guys couldn't be more diametrically different if you tried, right? From a different perspective. That doesn't mean we do represent Danville. Okay, so we do work in Danville, but you guys are completely different. We can't treat you the same because you're not the same. And so when you look at that approach of school law, is that you have to actually work and look and understand and know the community and understand what is expected in the community to be able to help form the legal opinions to which that are going to guide those, guide those school districts. What works for a school district this way or that way, you're sandwiched in between two huge large units over here, 2 large units here, and you have your own little unit here. And that doesn't mean that you're little or anything like that. You're just as powerful. It's just different. So we have to figure out, and your legal team and any of the teams that have to come in have to meet you where you're at, not where they think you should be at, not where, where the state thinks you should be at, is what is good for Oakwood and how are we going to do it for Oakwood. What I found in my 12 years of practicing when I represented superintendents is that a lot of superintendents would say the school firm is talking down to me, or they don't explain it, or it's not. And I don't think ill of any of those individuals. Some of those are my closest professional mentors. But what I think is we got topsy-turvy on how we, it was, top down instead of school district up. And that has to be where we start. And we could have an entire analysis just with the pandemic and how we dealt with the pandemic and how different school districts dealt with the pandemic. It wasn't a one size fit all. And we tried to be a one size fit all. And it doesn't always work that way. And so part of what I think Larry's alluding to is the fact that we came onto the scene and we came on strong saying, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to switch the model. And the model is going to be service oriented and figuring out how we meet the client where they're at. And I already said this, but the first question should always be like, if Larry called me and I was like, Larry, what do you want to do? What is going to be best for Oakwood? What is going to be best for those kids? And then we figure out if there's a pathway legally to get you there. If there's not, some days I have to say, like, that sounds really awesome, but this is what's going to happen as a result of that. If you're prepared to take that risk, then you know what I mean? We understand that. But those are the types of things. Like, I don't get to make the decision for you. Your attorney doesn't make the decision for you. The attorney tells you how the law applies to how you want to do it. And then you guys make the decisions once you know the pros, the cons, the risks, the highs, the lows, and then you make those decisions. And if that is not, how the approach is, we just don't think that we think that's the approach that has to be when you're client first. Because at the end of the day, you know what's best for your kids. You can build that and your staff. I mean, the one case we got to work on, it was an honor. I worked with your association. We worked through some hard, tougher issues, and we got the job done because we met you where you were and we listened to both sides, and we had to have critical conversations. That's okay. And that's important to us. Does that help?
That's exactly what I was asking.
Look at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I will make sure I get that information to Larry, and you guys can get it disseminated. If you look at that and you have any questions, my email, my cell phone, all of our attorneys, you'll have direct access to our cell phones. There's a contact card that you all can have if you need. Normally most boards work through their board president and their superintendent, but if there's any questions that you have regarding the materials that we gave you, make sure that you ask them. That's super important to me. And it's super important that if you find yourself not happy with something with Korea Bochek, that you call. Like, we are not going to shy away from the big conversations because that's how we get better together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just one other question on that. So we look at our legal counsel at the May meeting, is that right?
We do. We usually establish that in the board minutes when we reset the board and reseat and that type of thing. That's kind of been, what I understand, the tradition here. What I will need to look at is in the event that the school board would want to consider, entertaining a different law firm, then I would need to look at to see how we originally got into the relationship with our current law firm, and would that require an RFP? Sometimes it does when you're talking about attorneys and architects, that type of thing. So I will do some more homework on that and let the board know. I just wanted tonight to have the opportunity to have Sarah Bochek in front of you so that you can think through as a board and consider your relationship, because this is your attorney that represents you as a school board. And, she does a lot of work in the area, and I think she's a good person to at least consider before we look into that in the future.
Please get that to us so we can understand how we move.
Well, I'll work on that.
Okay. Agenda item number 3, consent agenda. Hope everybody had a chance to review the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Lynn, to approve the consent agenda items as submitted. Bradford? Yes. Hicks?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Plattner?
Yes.
And
Yes.
motion carried by roll call vote.
Agenda item number 4, FOIA request. Mr. Moon, granted FOIA request this month?
No, sir.
Sir. Agenda item 5, Oakwood Education Association report. Mr. Johnson. I guess,
We have 2 days to go. We just did the finals at the high school. I know there's a lot going on, wrapping up the semester, so we've got that ahead of us the next couple of days. We had some concerns with our sub shortage, and not necessarily as us individually. We understand that it's more of a nationwide thing, but the pressure that we feel covering each other and having classrooms where we've got to split kids because there's just not enough people, there's not enough bodies, and that's not our fault. That's not your fault. That's the world that we live in now. And so trying to come up with solutions, I don't want to steal your guys' thunder if you're going to talk about this here soon, but we had a great sit down on Thursday just to troubleshoot, get some ideas, get some thoughts. I think we have something really good planned to help drive more interest from the community, to hopefully recruit some people here that can not only help the area, but can also help us. And I think that a lot of the stuff that we put together, like, I'm excited about it. And I think from our perspective, just being heard, just knowing that, hey, this is the stress that we feel on a day-to-day basis. To us sit down and have that conversation was awesome. So looking forward to moving ahead with that.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Work committee reports, there's item 6.
Yeah, I think just, building on what Mr. Johnson has said, I mean, not to rehash everything there, but, moving forward, I think what's exciting about this is that there's a problem that we're all experiencing, and we're all feeling the pain of it, and we're in a crisis. And to come to the table like we did and have those conversations with the Oakwood Education Association, our staff members, and have administrators there, board members there, our negotiations committee, Mr. Smith, Mr. Plotner. I just felt like it was just some of the most productive, healthy conversations we had, which catapulted us into an action plan that Mr. Plotner, kind of got out in front of us with. And it's an excellent action plan. And so we've been building on that in the last 4 or 5 days, moving forward to the point where on Wednesday, January the 4th, we're going to have a big night of recruitment. We're going to publicize this as best we can. And I don't think this will be a one-night event. I foresee this being something that is done maybe a couple times a year, that type of thing in the future, to try to build our talent pool and resources of substitute teachers for our district. And our focus is on people that want to work just in Oakwood, really. We're trying to build a kind of a hometown pool of people to work with our kids. So in general, that's what we're moving towards. I want to thank everyone. Together we're better, and we're better ideas, better thoughts. And it's just some great thought exchange. So that is my perspective on it. Superintendent is very, just excited to see the work that was being done at the table. And since then, and I want to especially thank, our board members, Mr. Smith, Mr. Plotner. So I'm going to step back and see if these gentlemen would like to add anything or provide any additional information related to the committee and our meeting. So,
Well, I want to echo what Mr. Johnson said. I mean, it was good to sit down and talk to the association and brainstorm ideas. We know we have a problem, and again, it's just not us. And as Ms. Bocek alluded to, we're almost in the pandemic after the pandemic. We're looking at the Band-Aid now. We have to go forward and see how we can not need our substitutes. We're always going to get substitutes, but we need to get teachers. We need to get our educational staff up, and I think that's a long-term solution. But for now, some of the ideas we had that night are huge. And I think we're going to see a lot of people looking at us as an example of what can be done. And I hope we have a good turnout that night. And again, it was Mr. Plotner. I mean, I can't speak enough about it. We sat down as we're going. Okay, let me drive. Do you care if I drive for a second? I think it was exactly where and a half hour later, we're still going. We're nearing the time because we all had time constraints that night, but a lot of good things came out of it. You see later on the agenda, we're going to be talking about it again. So again, this is the Band-Aid because we're looking to help our students, but we're helping our students through our staff, and it was a good meeting. Spot or anything additional?
Oh, not really. Just that it's, the whole point of this is to get the community plugged back in. We're shooting the flare off to let them know we're in trouble. And I think they'll respond. I've got an assignment for you, by the way.
I
Need your
read
help with
it.
something.
I read it all today.
Okay. Request. for
I
your
did read it
support.
today. And I would say that that's very well put together.
Oh, thank you.
I think I read every line of it.
Well, I didn't put all of it together. I just kind of did a framework. And I didn't have all the information, so the whole team worked on it. So it's not just me. But I personally am going to become a sub. I'm going to put my name on the list and I think anybody that's a board member should probably be on that sub pool list.
Thank you.
And you can't, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk, right?
Is there an age limit?
Well, are you trying to get out of it?
No, are you trying to say that on my behalf?
Oh, I'm going to do it, yeah.
Oh, no, look here.
Well, Tim, how long was Mrs. Hawkins with us for?
Long time. I think John's mother was with us.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Again, the goal, we've got a great community, and the goal is to reach out to that community and let them know, first off, what it takes. I think some people may be confused as to what it actually takes to be a substitute. When Mr. Maynard and I talked about it, I asked some questions, and there may be people that have to come up with a lesson plan. This will be just an informational session that breaks it down so it's not as scary. Maybe that community will come out and will support us.
This is the initial inauguration of the Aspiring Substitute Teacher Academy in Oakwood School District.
Again, we'll be talking about that in agenda item number 11. So, anyway. Agenda item 7, administrative reports, informational only. Mr. Maynard?
Sure. Glad to start us out tonight. Just a few things you heard last year's financial report, so I won't get into that. Really did a great job at that. Just some highlight a few things. Treasury report, fund balances are still strong and healthy for us. I did want to mention that we've made some decisions a little over a year ago about how we transition and transfer money within our checking account, for example. And we get some checking, no pun intended on that. And we had an $18,000 interest in our checking account last month. That's up about $4,000 what it normally is. So that was a really good month, and it just kind of reaffirms that has been a good decision for us in the last couple of years. So just wanted to highlight that. Cash flow, revenues, expenditures. We're still on target with our budget right now. Filed the levy, with both Vermilion and Champaign County, so that's been taken care of. Board policy, you saw in your packet, there's a lot of updates, a few rewrites and that type of thing. So I think you have everything there for you to look at and consider. We have until March, I think it is, before we have to officially adopt anything. So I want to give you time for that. There is one policy that I think needs a little bit of a revision on, and I will get that out to you, but it's policy 4140. It has to do with the waiver and student fees. So I will look at that. Basically, what's happening there is that the legislators have basically said that the waiver of student fees, if things are broken, for example, or damaged, you can't ask them to pay for those things. That's what our legislators have put forth. So that is a little bit concerning for school districts when you're issuing Chromebooks and all those types of things. So I'm working on that because I think one of the things that we have available to us, lost, stolen, replacement, but there is an area where you do not have to include damages. So I'm looking at that language there, and I'm going to probably suggest that we have to maybe take out 2 words in that policy, and I'll get that to you for your consideration. I think it would be for the district. We still have some responsibility with all this technology that we're pushing out, for our kids. Probably make Mr. Richardson happy as well. So you'll have that. Reminder about filing petitions for candidacy, I think, started today for Vermillion County. So if that is your position, reminder of that. Student Resource Officer update. As you know, Mr. Chief Soderstrom has been filling the void there since a year ago in November. We've not had a person. They're still having trouble finding someone. And the mayor called me this past week, and the village is not able to continue to allow him to spend as much time as he is in our schools. So they're proposing, can we do this instead of 40 hours? Can it be 10 and things of that nature? So there's some concerns there with that. Of course, they're going to always respond to 911 emergencies and things like that. But as far as having the presence and the resources and the relationships, that is a little bit of a concern for me. So I'm waiting to see what the proposal is in writing. When I actually see that, I'm going to share it with you. From there, the only thing I can say is that one of the options would potentially be for a school district to try to hire our own SRO. And, with retirement, IMRF, and those types of things. So I'm still waiting to hear back from the mayor on exactly what that proposal is. I do have some concerns with reducing the number of hours. And right now, I think that, from a school standpoint, I feel like we're covered well. Chief Soderstrom is very visible. We've got another police officer that walks through all of our buildings, about 1 o'clock every day, just does a walkthrough. So we've got that presence and visibility, but that's a little bit of a concern for me right now. So when I get more information from that, I will share it with you. But I wanted to make you aware of it as an information item to see if you have any thoughts, questions, or anything you need me to pursue when I talk to the mayor again.
I do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Yes.
Kind of a 2-part question. I always appreciate the fact we've utilized our local law enforcement. Those people that are within the Oakwood community, within the village of Oakwood. So I hate to hear that this may be coming, but a consideration is, what about the county? Can we reach out to the county for that resource if the case arises? And you may not know the answer, but
I don't, but I'll look into it.
yeah, maybe the county would have that ability to
Yes,
do that.
absolutely.
Don't they have to be trained though? They're gonna be working with the schools.
They do have to have some training, I believe, because of
They do.
the age group they're working with. And it's a very different position.
Mhm.
Yes, you want to make sure you have a good fit.
Yeah. So that would be one of the things, about
Yeah.
reaching out with the county, like to see if somebody's qualified to come in and.
Exactly. Well, I think then we'd be entering in some sort of agreement with them that would say that they'd be required to have this training. I thought, and I may be incorrect, if they're Champaign counties, Champaign districts, or Champaign, communities, Champaign County communities utilize Champaign County. We don't.
I'm not so sure St. Joe didn't used to,
That's-
because I see,
that's
or they've got a problem all the time, because when I go by, there's a sheriff's car there.
I think they utilize the
I-
county.
I think they do
that's
too.
right. So maybe that's another, again, I'd much rather stay with our local village, but if they can provide that service to us, then I think it's an important thing to ask.
How many out, I'm sorry.
Aren't
go
we
ahead.
paying though with the village for,
We are.
so if they pull hours away, like, does that breach a contract of what we're paying?
Well, technically, our official contract ended just this past year. And because they've been looking for a new SRO and haven't found one yet, we've kind of been waiting to see. And in the meantime, Chief Ron has been filling that void for us.
Okay.
And I think the village is also looking at not only based on their needs of reducing the availability, but I also heard that there's an interest in raising the fee. for however many hours and time and so forth that is. So we've got some discussions we've got to have once I find out their proposal, and then to look at some other areas. So it's, and I know it's hard because to bring someone in to do a job like this from the village standpoint, you know, there's retirement and all the other things that they have to consider. And it just, I think it just becomes a cost, you know, budget situation. It's not that they're not trying. I mean, I talk with Chief Ron, you know, every couple of weeks, and I know that they had been pounding the rock. They thought they'd had a couple people and then kind of fell through. So they're concerned as well. We're just trying to figure out how to make this work. But I'm concerned to not have someone more full time. I've just always been a big believer, you know, in this position, and especially now with safety, things like that. And Chief Ron has just been such a great asset to us. Anytime something comes up, we need some continuity there. We've not really had that. Had some good people, but we've not had continuity.
How many hours a week? That's what I was asking. Does he spend?
Chief Ron right now, I don't know. Principals, maybe they have a thought.
I think for our building, it's more of, and I guess I should say the grade school side of the building, it's more on an as needed basis. Like if I'm gonna go do a home visit or a welfare check on a student, I call him and he will come. But I can't say that he's there just interacting with the students or coming to classrooms. Now, Anthony, he's the younger gentleman. Yes, he will come at 1 o'clock, and he does go into the gyms and interacts more with the students, but he does have more of a limited schedule.
And that to me is an important piece that I don't want to miss out on. It's not necessarily the fact that, I mean, while safety is paramount, it's also the interaction. It's the involvement. It's that playing dodgeball with the kids that's important. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I derailed you.
No, this is good. I appreciate you giving me some questions to ask, you know, moving forward. So I'll do some work on this and report back as soon as I get some answers.
Who's the acting mayor now?
That is Mr. Bobby Wright.
Bobby Wright.
Anything else on SRO?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay. Teacher shortage crisis, we already talked about that tonight. So again, it's just an action plan to cry for help. We need the community to step up for us and hopefully get licensed. And we are going to provide childcare on January the 4th. I talked to, thankfully, Mrs. Graham, and she's helping me with student council to get some junior high, high school student council members there. So if you have a parent that's has some children and needs some childcare but still wants to find a way to have some extra income, we'll do that for them that night. So there are a lot of benefits to being a sub, and that's what we're going to find out that night on January 4th. So a lot of benefits, and the district is picking up and providing extra benefits. And did some research this week that Dinah brought to me, and she made some calls for me. And we are still the highest paid substitute regular sub district, except for 118 right now. So we're where we need to be as a district, and feel really good about those decisions. Let's see here. Update on the guidance counselor vacancy at the high school. Just still trying to get some applications. We don't have any right now. We are already starting working together with Mrs. Smith, Erin Smith, the principal for next year, so that she has involvement in decisions being made personnel-wise. Mr. Oval's been involved in that, as well as Mrs. Lee and Mrs. Kimbrough. So we're just going to continue to recruit and do what we can. It's a position that a lot of districts are looking for, and it could come down to a situation at the midnight hour. We've got to look at maybe changing that job description in some way to allow someone else to step up that we feel like they can do that position. And so we're working with the ROE, but right now we've got to continue to search for a licensor. So hopefully that'll come forth. Let's see here. County facility sales tax. So tonight you've seen in your packet school districts that have already approved that. I believe it's Bismarck, Rossville, and a couple others, like Georgetown. So it's starting to move throughout the county outside of Danville. And so we've been talking about this. So I'm putting that forth tonight as an action item that we would at least vote to approve, so that it could be, once the majority of the districts then pass it, it moves to the Regional Office of Education, and that allows them to put that on the election ballots for the next election in April. So that's what's going on there. I want to spotlight the Crystal Apple Award. Let's get to some fun stuff here and finish with the good stuff. So you probably saw some information on that. So we started this. That plaque hanging on the wall over there has to do with being for the O. These are people that just model the things, our values, as well as a relationship with kids and working with parents, and just exceptional people. We've got a lot of people that could do this, and it's hard to just pick two sometimes, but we try to do two every semester. And as the administrative team comes together to vote on this and discuss it, I just want to congratulate Carol Moore at the grade school, third grade teacher, for receiving that Crystal Apple Award. You know, we take care of them with the Crystal Apple that they get to keep and have on their desk. They get a certificate from me. They get a $50 gift card, and we get a few other gift cards from Horace Mann, who helps support us with this recognition program. So congratulations to them. And the other person that we have, and it's open to any employee, and eventually it could open up to a community member. So, but I want to congratulate also Mr. Parker Lee for the work that he's doing in our school system. He is serving in a lot of different capacities and is also working towards, a future goal within our district. So two great people, that we are recognizing with our Crystal Apple Awards. I wanted to mention that to you. And I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas. Special time of year, family, and I wish you all well, and be happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Ms. Kimbrough could not be here tonight. Oakwood High School, Mr. Romo.
We have had a busy December, and the senior citizens done really well. Well received. We had 81. You saw that in the report. We have a blood drive. The band concert and chorus concert was really a fun event this year. It was a lot of great talent on the stage, and so that went really well. Right now we're having Christmas Spirit Week. It does not always look like this. Okay, so we are, with the exams and the stress and the pressure, having a Christmas Spirit Week. I think it's taken a little bit of that pressure off the students. Let them have a little bit of fun and do some dressing up. Tomorrow and Friday is not going to be as much dressing up as this, because we do want to concentrate on those finals these last 2 days. We also had in the FCA newsletter, our students had some pictures in there of their FCA huddled around the Oakwood O in front of the East Lobby. So we were kind of featured in there. And then we have sophomore Aubrey Elliott was pictured leading the FCA huddle. To have an FCA huddle leader as a sophomore that's going through the core and teaching fellow students is a big deal. So we have a lot of great students doing great things. You saw we had 5 Illinois State Scholars. So our exam schedule, just so you know, we've got our first, third, and fifth hours coming up tomorrow, and then on Friday we'll have second, fourth, and sixth. The other thing I want to plug is the county basketball tournament will be sneaking up on us really quick, January 13th through the 21st. Our band will be playing on January 16th along with our dance team. We're looking at having Lily Harden sing the national anthem out there a couple of nights. If you haven't heard her sing at our events, she is awesome. And so there's another great talent. This year's cheer competition has been moved to January 14th. Usually it's at the end. They moved it up because of the conflict with the state cheer competition on the following Saturday. and that'll be at 10 a.m. on January 14th. And all of this is going to be out at DAC. So we're really excited about it. As far as the Dominion County Principals Association, it's a new venue, it's a new start. DAC is offering us a lot of perks, and we're looking for a good long-term relationship with them. I can't tell you when we're going to play because we haven't seeded it yet. That comes after the Christmas break. Everybody will have a few more games so that we can seed that, but we'll get that published out there. I do know the championship night for the girls will be on January 20th, and for the boys will be on the 21st, and those games will be at 5, 6:30, and 8 p.m. So that is what I've got right now. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on, and we're really excited, and the kids are ready to get out. Our teachers are ready to get out, but we just have that last little thing of semester exams. So we're going to push that through, and hopefully everybody does well. We get a little bit of a break and start fresh in January. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Ogle. Mr. Shelton.
Yep. So you have my report as presented. I'll kind of hit some of the highlights here real quick. So all of our winter sports are off and running now through the Thanksgiving holiday and moving into the Christmas holiday. And all right, I'll start with the boys basketball team. They started out their season 8-0 in the first 8 games of the season, won the Tri-County tournament for back-to-back seasons now, and then turned that right into the Toyota Danville Classic and got a second place finish there. Somewhat disappointing championship game, but it was a very good showing at that tournament. We had Dalton Hobbit was named to the tourney MVP at Tri-County, and Brody Tafflinger was named to the All-Tourney team at the Toyota Danville Classic, and he also won the free throw award, best free throw percentage in that tournament. So congratulations to those two. They have an upcoming couple games here. They play at Armstrong this Friday, and then off that Monticello tournament. And by the way, I'm not sure if you guys have had a chance to get on social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or the live feed on the school website. Try to update that as much as possible. So those schedules are on there, and try to let you know when the next games are going to be. So if you don't know, just log onto there and find that information. Also, our Fresh-Off boys will play their first official game on next Monday, the 19th, at home against Paris. So that's their first game. That's coming up too next week. And then the girls, they're off to a 5-5 start this season. They captured third place in the our own Comic Classic here in Thanksgiving. Had a great past Monday. We had Addie Wright that signed her letter of intent to play basketball next year at Quincy University. We're super proud of her and her accomplishments at Oakwood High School, and can't wait to see what she does in the future as well. Had a great turnout for that season, so it was great to see. Also, that same night, we had our 3rd through 5th grade girls basketball team come out and play during halftime as well, and represent the future Comets and play. So that has grown. We did that last year. I think we had 9 or 10 girls, and this year we got 20. It is growing, and I know that Coach Johnson and Coach Prater are doing a great job with those girls, getting them ready for Coach Marsh and Coach Johnson at the high school. So anyhow, so that's the girls. And then cheerleading, man, they just missed the making the state tournament by half a point at Pontiac 2 weekends ago. They got another shot this Sunday at Wilmington to try to make that at the ICCA invite there. So hoping that they will do that and do well. But they also won the Boardmaker Classic for back-to-back years. They changed their routine, went there, and won it again. So really proud of it. The cheerleaders about it. They had a great week actually. So looking forward to this weekend, seeing how they do there. Next is wrestling. Wrestling has been pretty active here. They just came off a triangular meet at Vandalia where they beat Robinson and Albany and then lost to Vandalia in a close match. So they're doing fantastic. They're actually very exciting to watch. If you had a chance to go watch them, they're a lot of fun. Matter of fact, they have a female wrestler this year, a Salt Fork student that just finished 2nd place at Pontiac in an all-girls tournament. So she's fantastic to watch too. So we get a chance to come out and see them. And please do so. We have a lot of home meets for wrestling this year, a lot of them. Matter of fact, we are hosting on January 6th the BBC and VC tournament. That's the first time that we've done that as a conference in the county, and we're going to host that at Oakwood High School. So looking forward to that. And then, we have 3 more home meets after that as well. So come out and check it out. So the other things, the wrestling team is doing overnight. So right after Christmas, they have an overnight trip, which we got to be already approved that here at the board, then to do that, but that's coming up at Ames Rumble, Springfield. So looking forward to that as well. Then the last thing is we've updated some the banners in the gym that were down. If you notice, they were down. Now they're back up. The facility just put them up yesterday, so they're back up at the gym. And we've updated some of the wall that they've been a couple of years without a chance to do that. And we're trying to. I've got some new plaques ready to go up too with some people that are coming in town. I know Caitlin Young is going to come back from Murray State, and she's got some awards that she's going to in her records that she's going to put on the wall. And when she gets back in, we want to make sure we recognize her too for her accomplishments. Here, she's having a great year at Murray State. If you guys got a chance to follow her, she's it's phenomenal that some of the Becky Hammond national recognition that she's getting, and she's from Oakwood. That's awesome. So I'd be glad to have her back here on the 22nd to do that. So that's all I have, unless you guys have anything for me. Questions for me?
Oakwood Junior High, Ms. Burton.
Good evening. The whole year's been a journey. Recently, it's been a bigger journey. We've had not only staff as teachers out, but we've also had some key support people out. So I do want to thank the unit office and our staff because they stepped up and those kids didn't miss a beat. We really look for consistency there, and it takes all of us to do that, and I really appreciate that. We are adjusting our arrival and dismissal. We're trying to regain some minutes in our learning lab. So we're constantly looking for ways to build the junior high and find some success there. We're also looking at maybe doing some changes in our afternoon schedule to beef up our 5th hour and our learning lab time, our study hall time for our athletes and those kids that need extra help. Our student council is in full swing this year. Festival of the Trees, they had a gingerbread house in, and they were helping during the event. And we have concessions back, something we haven't had in 2 years, and the kids are loving it. Popcorn, sodas, everybody, and we're just finally back on the ring. And that's important because our kids like to have that service in our extracurricular. Girls basketball finished at regionals. Volleyball started. Their first game will be January 10th. Boys basketball and cheer preparing for county. We will play our first game for 8th graders on the 5th at Oakwood, and 7th grade will play on the 3rd at Rossville. I also want to say that Mr. Napolitano is a great addition to Oakwood. He does some great things with our junior high, and the 6th graders that come in their building to work with him, they're excited. It's fun to walk by his room and hear some of the conversations. It's really nice. And then we will come back and start Scholastic Bowl. We've got a new schedule for that, so we're ready to go. We've got a lot of kids doing a lot of things, and we just want to see more in January. Merry Christmas.
Okay, I've got a question. If
Okay.
you've got it. And I would assume in John City's report, he's going to say something, but Mr. Maynard sent a thing out about the trashing of the walls. And I took offense to that with the 7th and 8th grade kids. And basically my personality is I jumped on several of them.
Mm-hmm.
But basically their concern is that they go into that building with book bags and all their bags. They no longer, since we built the new junior high, have anywhere to go. They don't get to go to the gym. So I called Mr. Maynard and complained. And because that's what I do. And when he said, well, I think we're going to fix that. And the kids I talked to, like, goodness, this is a brand new school. How are you trashing the walls? He said, well, we got to go in there and stand. We can't go to classes. I said, can you not go to classes? Everybody else goes to classes at the grade school, at the high school at 7:45. So I understand it was fixed. And my grandson won't let me ask him anything because he don't want to get in trouble. So I asked the other kids. Well, the way they fixed it is you go in there and you sit on the floor. And you can't go to your locker. So they got all these. To me, we built a building for the kids. And if you have to go in there and sit on the floor because the teachers don't want to open up their classroom to you, but yet they open them up at the grade school and they open them up at the high school. And then we wonder why we might have discipline problems or kids that just don't act right. And a lot of it's the age, I agree, but I just don't think we're being fair to these kids. I mean, if I had to start my day and walk in there packed full of all my stuff and go sit on the floor, I would be a little disappointed. So I hope you've got a better solution than that.
The purpose of sitting on the floor is I didn't have enough staff. I have 3 internal subs for a long time. So if I start the day and I don't have enough people covered, the 2 people that step in to do advisory are doing other jobs. So I couldn't put kids in a classroom unsupervised. It was easier to keep them in the hallway. Then they were all covered and safe. I didn't want them in and out of lockers because then we've got that congestion too. So our fix is we're taking them all to the gym and they're sitting into the gym on the bleachers. Because again, I don't know where my staff is at this time.
But why can your staff not let them come into their rooms at 7:45?
If I have the staff, that's great, but then what do I do with the 3 classes that I might not have teachers for? That's what I'm concerned about.
So in other words, but isn't this the same problem that you have at the grade school? Isn't this the same problem that you'd have at the high school? I mean, you don't ask the high school kids or the grade school kids because we may not have staff to go sit on the floor. And I know this is coming out pretty harsh.
No,
but
that's
I'm-
okay. And I'm okay with that. And
okay.
again, I took this because in one of my other districts, that's what we did with the number of students. We sat them in the hallway. We sat them in the hallway after lunch. When we were transitioning for lunches, I had to leave the cafeteria 10 minutes earlier because that cafeteria had to be clean. So my kids had to sit in the hallway because my teachers were still eating lunch. So that's sort of been past practice. And again, I was looking at kid safety. So we've moved to the gym now because again, I want those kids to be
Okay,
together.
have you moved to the gym
Yes,
yet?
we already started.
Okay,
We already started.
good, because I've got a couple kids that
Yep.
asked me, Mr. Lane, please keep your mouth shut because
No,
now
that's
instead-
okay. No,
now
I
instead of
appreciate
coming into
this.
the building and
Yeah.
standing, we go now go in and sit.
And I
So-
appreciate that conversation. I'm always looking for better ways, but safety's gotta be my first thing. And then at the end of the day, we were sitting a long time waiting for buses. There's a lot of transition getting kids in and out of that building on all the sides. So we're trying to keep them in the room longer, so they have more learning lab time. And that's something we're working too. So they're not sitting in the hallway at the end of the day or standing in the hallway. So we're trying to keep them in classes, give a little more learning time back. So we're working on that, but there's no sitting in the hallway right now.
Good. And hats off to the grade school for what they've been walking that car ride line. And my gosh, that thing just moves. It's really good. Again, your staffing, I see all kinds of grade school, principals, assistant principals, teachers emptying out that building and going around and meeting and talking to parents and everything. Does the junior high participate in that?
They are all on duty. They're moving kids. So I haven't had Mr. Huntsberger's out back in the bus. And when I've got somebody in my office, I'm out in the front in the morning. And then if not, I'm helping transition all those kids in and out of the building.
Okay. Okay, I'm just saying it's a way to make yourself more visible.
Yep, agreed.
Way to get that. Okay,
Agreed. Thank you.
all right, thank you. That one's on me, Randy.
Any other questions, Ms. Burton?
Thank you.
Did you try?
Ms. Pennis is out this evening. Ms. Acton.
All right, so obviously Ms. Flippin is out, so I apologize that I was just a few moments late. We did a rescheduled boys basketball game, and I wanted to make sure that Mr. Lee was fine before I got here and then ran into some issues on the road. But anyway, this will be our last 5th and 6th grade game tonight, and then our 6th graders are going to play a 6th grade only game before the junior high game on Thursday. It's been a good season. I couldn't ask for anybody better than Mr. Lee, and Mr. Bradford has been helping so much. Boys had a great season. I had 0 ineligible students this season for both boys and girls. And that is huge. And I think they are so excited to be back and playing in sports and in an activity. So kudos to both Nicole Johnson and Curly. So it's been a great season for that. Let's see, going on to the grade school, big thank you to Summer Ferris. Our Christmas concert was Sunday. It was phenomenal. And kind of achieved superstar status because there was a song about Miss Lapinus and I. And then I had my first student ever dress up like me with a red wig, and it was the highlight of my teaching career. So it was great. She's phenomenal. It was so nice seeing so many people in the community at that Christmas program. And I believe it was Mrs. Ferris that said it, but our pre-K, our kindergarten through 3rd grade had never been a part of a Christmas program before. So just seeing them back in the gym was phenomenal. So big shout out to her, especially with all the illness and everything going on. It was great to see that many people to be there. We had 40 adopted students from our Angel Tree, and that was wonderful to partner with the library on that program. Our influx of McKinney Vento homeless has definitely increased in the Oakwood community. And so to be able to give these students a Christmas, thank you to the unit office for allowing us to wrap here and get everything organized. But it's really nice to give back to the students who actually live in our community. My big thing, Mr. Lynn kind of talked about it, was the kid account started on Thursday, December the 1st. Not gonna lie, Thursday, December 1st, I thought, what are we doing? It was a little scary, but technology worked. Thanks so much to Chris for all of his help. The first day, I will say, took the exact same amount of time as what we had been doing on the radio. So we tweaked a few things, learned along the way, and because our primary goal in this was efficiency, making sure that we could keep it going and people not waiting in line for hours, but also safety of students. And I'm happy to say that the last week or so, we have shaved it to, we are done with car rider by about 2:58 in the afternoon. And I feel like we're doing it safely now. When we first started, when I came on board, our dismissal started at 2:45 and we had staff members there until 3:30. So to go from 2:45 to 2:58 is phenomenal. The company told me this, but you will only hear bits and pieces sometimes when the company is talking to you about the perks. I have been so impressed with the amount of communication that I've been able to have with parents out there in car rider line, being able to answer their questions, being able to assure them about the security and safety for their students, answering when volleyball starts or when the Christmas program is. And those are things that I wasn't able to do before. And now those are honestly the best 15 minutes of my day, is to be out there with the parents and answering those questions. So it's been really wonderful. I'm hoping that we can continue to add to the program. Mr. Maynard came over today and got to see the process. And the best thing that he said, and he's exactly right, it's like an assembly line. There's pieces going all around, and it's the staff that chip in and help so much that really make it successful. So although my name's attached to it, it's really the credit goes to them. So that's all for me.
I would just say, first of all, we had a vision for this a little over a year ago, thinking this may be something that would make us more efficient as aspect, but also safety. It was great today. I wanted to give them time to get all the pieces together, and we really see this thing moving. And the benefits and the value of this kid account program, I can't say enough about it. What I saw today was unlike anything I've seen at dismissal at a school. When I was walking with you and we were going to all those cars and we're scanning and you were showing me how we can check this and that. And to go inside and to talk to all the different moving parts related to this, before it was just kind of, you get ready, you get people that were waiting for a long time and we're large groups and areas, and there were safety concerns I had. So I just want to say, I want to say thank you. This was an idea that I threw out to you, and I asked you to look into it, give me some feedback on it, and it continued to grow. And then you were the one, with your leadership, this acting, to get this implemented with our staff. And when I saw all that going on today, I was just really impressed. And now we have other school districts that are inquiring about what we're doing. And I don't say that to pat us on the back. We're still learning and growing. But the point is that it's taking something about school. The way that we arrive and the way that we leave is so important, especially in a day of safety concerns. And to see what we are doing, in our pre-K through 8 building, it's really something to see. And I would just encourage you at any point in time, a board member, if you want to come and do like I did today and to walk through and see how this whole operation works, it is just a credit to the leadership that we have in our buildings to make this happen for our kids. And I could see, my initial thought was, well, how will parents feel about the fact that I'm pulling up? I got to roll down my window. I got to show my ID card and get it scanned and all that. How will they feel about that? What I saw today was smiles and probably reassurance that we are doing this, because I watched questions being asked in the moment of dismissal of little kids. And if I'm a parent, which I am, I'm a grandparent now as well, when I see a school taking care of my children that way, that's why I send them. So I'm talking a lot, but I'm trying to communicate. Well done. And we should all be proud of what's taking place in our pre-K through 8 building. So thank you. Please pass that on to our staff.
Will do.
And junior high, pre-K through 8, everything. Sorry.
He did
Smith.
not slow it up.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't
I
nervous.
made him keep walking.
I wasn't nervous, but I would assume you would have slowed it up.
I would imagine you're missing, or you lost tick reports are way down now. Is it right?
It is. I mean,
All
it
those
is. It's
phone calls.
amazing. It really is and now, they're asking, they're waiting for me to actually, are you the stepdad or the dad? Because it all comes up. And so that's nice. I love the security feature. I mean, it's very few. I'd say less than 10% of our students, but we do have students who cannot be picked up by individuals. Right. And that generates on the screen as well. And so for me out there, I don't have to bring attention to it. I can click that person is here and it notifies the police department. And that's a safety feature for all of our students if that would escalate to something worse. So Officer Whitman's been out there, Ron Soderstrom's been out there. It's been really great.
What do you do if they don't have a car? You just
I
type in their
can
number?
manually put them in, and so far that's not been an issue. I think if we had lots of people doing that, it would definitely slow it down. That may be where the second lane exchange goes. But so far, it's not been. I'd say we've had less than 3. We had a couple of glitches in cards, but the company's been good about replacing. We've had a lot of family order extra cards. And you'll get to keep those cards that you have now, and then you'll get new ones next year if we continue it.
Technology, Mr. Richardson.
The only thing I really wanted to highlight was Comcast has finished installing the fiber line at the grade school junior high complex. This was all done through the Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology and ICN, which is the Illinois Century Network, which is the internet provider that Comcast connects us to. That's run by the state. This ended up, I just actually signed the contract for that. So we're locked into a total monthly cost of 0 for the next 72 months. And this is the exact number was $4,129.15 a month if we were locked into that price. So luckily I was able to get us into that consortium, and then so we just don't have to pay for internet service for the next 6 years. And that's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Transportation, Ms. Lunt.
Don't have much more to add than the former report. This is our first week in probably about 2 months that we're actually fully staffed in transportation. We've been struggling really rough too. Yeah, Johnson's has been an absolute major help. Tammy Spencer, she's one of our subs who also has another job. She's been coming in as often as she can to help keep us covered. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, our last day of school, we ran 3 route staff. And with the staff at the grade school and the junior high kind of helping us out, watch kids so we could get kids home and come back for more, it worked out smoothly. Our students weren't getting home super late. You know, I think we only had one morning where the kids were really late to school, and that was because there was an accident on 74. So we had Oakwood was all backed up there. But our team is doing an amazing job covering and working together. And I want you guys to know that if you see our drivers out there, let them know how amazing job they are. You know, they're kind of underlooked and they have been working really hard. Last week I had to be covered for a few days. Brenda Dower stepped up, took for control of everything, worked with the parents, did an amazing job. I have a few drivers I'm working with right now. I didn't make it to last month's meeting, but you guys kind of saw my plan for getting more sub drivers on. I've talked to a few of my drivers. They're going through now so they can be part of the training course for the CDL, because that'll give us more flexibility to working with, you know, parents who'd like to sub drive, but they don't have time to make it to a class. I could have drivers help me work with them, working one-on-one with them for them to get that proper training in that they have to do to get the license. So we're really excited about getting this all together and getting that out there.
Any question, Ms. Lund? Thank you. District Head of Maintenance, Mr. Simmons.
I don't really have a whole lot, getting ready for Christmas break, so there's a lot going on. Talked to Amoresco. They're gonna be in at 6 o'clock Saturday morning to start the little gym. They'll be in, they didn't give me any dates, but they got 3 days they want to use to paint the junior high, get it touched up. So, and there's a lot of other work that's gotta be done in between all that. Hopefully, being in touch with Barback to finish up our fire devices. We still are missing a few of those. Also, our intercom system, we're working with that, trying to get that up and trying to communicate between both buildings. I got word today, our radios are in, so that'll help. We got 6 more radios coming in. That'll help with releasing the junior high and the grade school where they can communicate better. So the junior high hasn't really had any radios since we moved into there, so that should really help that situation. Also, I've been in contact with Nate, has been up to the junior high. We've had some leaks with the boiler in different areas in the building, blowing off steam and different things. We were using some water in the boiler, which when you use water in the boiler, it makes your well kick on, makes everything kick in. So I've had Nate up there. We're trying to he fixed 8 leaks, a couple steam lines, doing some of the patchwork to try to make it so we're not spending out electricity, the boiler coming on all the time. It seems to be helping the last few days. It's not as hot in the building. I think some of that steam that was leaking was creating moisture and stuff in that building. So we're trying to get that cut down so we can save a little bit of expenses there. We've also cut the garbage up there. What little garbage is up there, we're just going to throw in one of the other containers to try to save a little bit there. Looking at some other options is to try to cut some of the electricity costs down. And then today I had a meeting with our insurance company. He came down, did a walkthrough. That's with TCIS. Had a lot of that taken off of our paperwork in the last couple of years. Mr. Maynard and I have gone through some of that, done a lot of that work upgrading. I know we got a lot of that on this summer list that we've already talked about. Mr. Maynard and I have talked about some of it, but it's still on our list. There's about 3 or 4 more items that'll come off of that. So in the last few years, between the ROE and the insurance, we've really kept it up. And every time we get something off that insurance paper, it makes us look better, so it helps our insurance rates. So it don't seem like it's that much, but it does really help. So any little bit helps. Otherwise, everything's going great. I'm hoping, I'm supposed to meet with them tomorrow morning on the sidewalk. They still want to put it in. I'll meet with them tomorrow for the sidewalk going out to the playground. And then just trying to keep everything else going.
I think we've secured 2 or 3 substitute custodians as well.
Yes.
Does that sound right, Mr. Simmons? Yeah. Help us out when needed, when someone's sick and that type of thing, so. Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Simmons? Thanks, sir. Agenda item number 8, old business. Mr. Mayor, I don't believe we had any old business for discussion tonight.
No, sir.
Okay, agenda item 9, closed session. We do have a need to go into closed session for 2 items. First off, according 5 LCS 122C5 to discuss the purchase or lease of real property for use in the district, and also 5 ILCS 122C1 for the performance of a specific employee. Do I have a motion to go into closed session at 6:51 PM?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussions? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Ledford to enter closed session at 6:51 PM. Hicks?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Plattner?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bradford?
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 2.
We can do that close.
Need a motion to reopen, enter open session at 8:53 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Bradford to re-enter open session at 8:53 PM. Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford. Yes. Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 3.
Agenda item 10, consideration action, 10A, for the fiscal year 2022 annual financial report, a recommendation approved as presented by Russell and Associates.
Nothing more to add. I would just recommend you to approve that tonight.
Our motion to approve the, motion to approve the financial report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Lynn to approve the 2022 financial report as presented. Smith,
Yes.
Bradford. Yes. Hicks,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 4.
Agenda item 10B, village fifth and field usage agreement. We have a recommendation to approve that agreement as presented. Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to add to that?
Just to remind the board that this is an agreement that was revised from the original one. The Village of Fithian has been great to work with, and they sent the document back that we sent over to them from Brian Braun. It's been signed, so I'd ask that you to approve that tonight so we can have our junior high softball play out there.
A motion to approve the fifth and field usage agreement as presented.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
At the end, so for those softball players, is there a bus that takes them out to the field? So they can have, everybody can have access to get there.
We take them for practice and then our home games, we consider them away.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the fifth and field usage agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Bradford to approve the Fithian Field agreement as presented. Bradford. Yes. Hicks,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 5.
Agenda item 10C, county school facility sales tax resolution. We have a recommendation to approve the resolution to be placed on the ballot for April 2023. That document was on the public website.
Yes,
And presented all board members prior to the meeting. So, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I think just to highlight, this is part of the process we have to go through to be able to basically say as a school district, we are approving this and asking that the regional office would place this on the ballot for us in the event that the other school districts in the county over half do that. The important thing about this resolution is that we need to state in the event that this were to pass by the voters of Oakwood and surrounding county, if it were to pass, we have to declare how we would use those funds. And the two areas that we've identified that we would use for these funds, one would be to abate a portion of our outstanding construction bonds with the intention that such an abatement would reduce the property tax liability of our property owners of property within the boundaries of the Oakwood Community Unit School District number 76. Second one would be renovation of facilities that includes but is not limited to the purchase of land for the Oakwood Community Unit School District number 76. Those would be the two priorities, and we have to, publicly state that. And, the estimate could be $600,000 potentially that would gain from Oakwood. So we would take a portion of that money, put it towards the abatement for those property taxes to help our owners, and then obviously a bigger portion of that would go towards, facilities. So that's how we'd work that out, and that would be determined, at the board level. So it's being transparent with the resolution. That is very important. So I would recommend, along with several other districts in the county that have already done so with their boards this week, that we would do that as well tonight.
We have a recommendation to approve the county school facility sales tax resolution. Do we have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Lynn to approve the sales tax resolution as presented. Hicks,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford. Yes. Motion carried by roll call vote 6.
Agenda item 10D, we have a recommendation to approve the employment of Maddie Lee as a long-term substitute teacher for leave of Avery Sandiford. Her rate of pay will be $197.30 per day. It's anticipated to be between February 6th through March 3rd, 2023.
Yes, she's gonna be going on maternity leave. Maddie has been in our building. As a matter of fact, she was in the building today. She's gonna be in there again tomorrow for a substitute. She also was a long-term sub for us when we didn't have a Spanish teacher, so she's very familiar with the kids. She's done a great job. She's our cheer coach. I mean, it's just awesome. So
The motion to approve the recommendation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? One quick question for my memory. Long-term substitute pay, we do not pay benefits, correct? We don't pay insurance. When do we do that?
Correct. We pay them more.
Okay.
Yes, we pay them more wages, but not benefits.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Bradford to approve the employment of Maddie Lee as presented. Sorry, Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford. Yes. Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 7.
Agenda item 10U, we have a high school recommendation to approve Brendan Watson as a volunteer assistant baseball coach.
Mr. Watson is a Oakwood alum, and he is fantastic. He's been helping out in our building, and he has a great rapport with our students, and he's actually already been board approved for wrestling, and he's been a tremendous asset, according to Coach Glosser, and got to see him in action a lot already this year. He's awesome, and I know that playing for baseball, pending board approval, would be for him to work with the catchers this spring with Coach McFarland.
There a motion to approve Brendan Watson as volunteer assistant baseball coach.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Hicks to approve the volunteer Brendan Watson as presented. Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford. Yes. Hicks,
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 8.
Agenda item 10F, we have Oakwood Junior High School recommendation to approve the employment of Connie Hoagland to fill the Oakwood Junior High School physical education health vacancy beginning in January of the 2022-23 school year. Ms. Hogan would be on the step 2 of the teacher salary scale with a bachelor's degree.
Connie is also a grad, so it's nice to bring somebody back home. She is been involved in basketball and tennis through college and through some careers. Right now she's at Muhammad working with more of an adult program. She does a lot of differentiation with kids and does a lot of the social pieces. And she's anxious to work with our junior high kids and our families building health and physical activities. I highly recommend her.
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation to approve the employment of Connie Hoagland?
I'd like to make a motion to table this until our next meeting.
Do I have a second to table the approval of the employment of Connie Hoagland to the next board meeting?
Second.
Any discussion on tabling the motion to approve the employment of Connie Hoagland? Roll call on the motion to table the employment of Connie Hoagland to the next board meeting.
Motion by Lynn, seconded by Bradford to table the discussion of the employment of Connie Hoagland. Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 9.
Agenda item 10G, we have the semi-annual review of closed session minutes. Of course, that recommendation to keep closed session meeting closed, that is a routine mention, Mr. Maynard.
That's what you said, Mr. Smith, routine mention. I would recommend that we would continue to keep the closed session meeting minutes closed.
A motion to keep the closed session minute closed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Bradford to approve keeping closed session minutes closed. Bradford? Yes. Hicks?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call vote 10.
Agenda item 10H, the board meeting calendar. January through December, the regular scheduled board meetings will be continued on the third Wednesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. Do I have a, Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to add?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the board meeting calendar as presented?
So, second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Who was my second?
Mimi.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Motion by Bradford, seconded by Ludwig to approve the board meeting calendar, January through December of 2023 as presented. Hicks? Yes. Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bradford? Yes. Motion carried by roll call vote 11.
Agenda item 11, new business. We have a discussion on the substitute teacher shortage.
I feel like we've covered that already tonight, so I guess if anyone has anything to add or any questions, I think it's been discussed well by everyone in the room already tonight. So we're just going to move forward with trying to recruit some substitute teachers for our kids.
When do you think we'll start seeing communication go out? I know I've watched some of our Facebook or Twitter account. I think we've seen some smaller posts to help with this. When do you think we'll start seeing communication then on the larger plan of the meeting?
I've got a flyer that's ready to go out. I haven't decided how I'm going to message that yet because I've still got my For the O newsletter to go out, and I'd like to go out by Friday. I can send that as an attachment, that flyer, but then I also want to send out, some recycles of that on a separate communication, so that way it doesn't get lost. So I'm still working through how I want to do that, but communication, I'm hoping to get out the newsletter Friday and then the flyer, if not sometime later Friday, first of next week, and then probably send it out about every few days. So I'll probably do that as well. And then, when we get a little bit closer, we're looking at trying to get some newspapers and, maybe a news station and that kind of thing to try to promote this, for a school district. So.
Are we gonna send them home with like the grade school, like send them home with students?
I'm sorry.
Do we send flyers home with students, like with the grade school? Cause I check grade school, I don't check my high school at all. She never shows me anything, but I check my kids' folder every night. So like,
Do you think like Friday would be good? Send home with the kids?
I would, and like if we really want to promote this, because it's something that we really want the word to go out, like I would just use every communication possible.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if you don't send it home Friday,
Sorry,
they wouldn't get it.
They wouldn't know about it till after the break,
Yeah.
which is.
But it's just a day after the break.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like any portal communication that we can get this out, would be very, Lisa just said, elementary teacher and class dojo, which I get and I check. I also check kids' folders. I know some people don't do dojo, like don't look at dojo. I mean, I would just,
I'll push the flyer out tomorrow.
yeah.
I know the principals have had a chance to at least look at it, give me feedback, on it, that kind of thing, and negotiate this committee. So let me get that pushed out tomorrow. Friday folders. We're going to look at the postal service to see what it would cost to even have them mailed. I don't really know yet, but Dinah's looking into that for me.
Yeah.
That sounds good for Friday.
This is a big issue, I think, any way that we can just communicate and get it out to our community. That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah. See if we can do it.
Struggles
That's your question.
Yep.
Okay.
Any further discussion on the plan to hopefully help with the substitute teacher shortage?
Hang in there. Principals, APs, hang in there. Teachers. I'm flying. You losing hair over there, Johnson?
Yeah. January 12th. We need
I have an other.
Oh, that's correct. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
It's tradition. It's been a long night, Mr. Lynn. You deserve this moment. Okay?
Are you gonna
If
say?
Mr. Shelton can do it, I know I can pull it off. All right. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
And shake it.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Thank you.
You may.
Well, there's not a cat in there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, you. Good. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Uh-oh.
Merry Christmas. You should have pulled that elk, pulled that around.
I know.
All right. I'm good.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
I need a motion to adjourn at
So-
Second.
9:08 PM.
Sorry, Bob.
Our next regular board meeting will be Wednesday, January 18th,
No.
2023 at 5:30 PM. And please stay tuned for our, what's the meeting? The Aspiring Substitute Teacher
Oh.
Academy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Our motion adjourned at 9:09 PM.
We've already got this.
They've already
By
got
Lynn.
Roll call.
To adjourn at 9:08 PM. Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call. 12.